the desert wind howled across the Arizona plains, carrying dust, pain, and memories. Out there, under the blood-red sky, a young Apache girl rode alone. Her name was Nayeli, and behind her lay a trail of ashes, her village burned, her people slaughtered by bounty hunters who called themselves heroes. For 3 days she had wandered the wasteland, her lips cracked, her horse trembling under her. She had no food, no water, and no reason to keep living except one, to survive long enough to find a place that wouldn't kill her on sight. As the sun sank behind the mesas, she saw smoke rising from a ranch in the valley below. Her heart pounded. A white man's ranch meant danger, but death was already close behind her. She rode on. The ranch belonged to Ethan McGraw, a man hardened by years of loss. His wife was gone, his land half ruined, his heart locked behind the fences he'd built to keep the world away. But when he saw the Apache girl collapse at his gate, he didn't see an enemy, he saw a broken soul, like his own. He carried her inside, gave her water, and waited. For 2 days, she slept. When she finally woke, her eyes met his with a mix of fear and pride. "You're safe," Ethan said. Her voice was faint but firm. "I don't need saving, but I can't live without a man. Not here. Not alone." He frowned. "You think you need a man to protect you?" She looked down. "No. I need a man to let me live." The words hit him hard. He'd seen too much hate in this land, and now, in front of him, stood its most innocent victim. Ethan let out a slow breath. "You can stay. But you'll work for it." And so, Nayeli stayed. She worked like a storm, fixing fences, herding cattle, learning the rhythm of ranch life. The folks in town whispered that McGraw had lost his mind. An Apache girl on his land? They said she'd curse him, steal from him, maybe worse. But as weeks passed, Ethan realized she was the strongest person he'd ever met. Beneath her quiet gaze burned a fire that the desert couldn't kill. Yet even in peace, trouble has a way of finding those who've suffered enough. 3 men, bounty riders who'd hunted her tribe, were headed for Lone Spur Ranch. And they were bringing death with them. Morning came cold and bright. Ethan stood by the porch, rifle in hand. Nayeli was saddling her horse. "They're coming," she said, her voice steady as steel. 3 men. The ones who burned my village. Ethan looked at her, saw the calm fire in her eyes, and nodded. "Then they picked the wrong ranch." Before noon, the outlaws appeared riding hard, their laughter cutting through the dry air. Their leader, Cole Tanner, sneered as he stopped by the fence. "Well, look what we got here. The rancher and his little Apache pet. Hand her over, old man, and we might let you keep breathing." Ethan didn't move. Nayeli stepped forward. "You killed my father," she said softly. "You burned children alive." Cole smirked. "You talk too much." A single gunshot shattered the silence. Ethan's rifle barked, and Cole's hat flew off as he fell back with a wound to his shoulder. The other 2 outlaws drew fast, but Nayeli was faster. 2 sharp cracks echoed, and the men dropped to the dirt. Smoke drifted through the air, and then silence, deep, final silence. The battle was over before it began. Ethan lowered his rifle slowly. "You said you couldn't live without a man," he said, his voice heavy with respect. "But you just saved mine." Nayeli smiled faintly, her hands still trembling. "Maybe I was wrong," she said. "Maybe it's not about needing a man, maybe it's about finding one who believes you deserve to live." From that day on, the rancher and the Apache girl worked side by side, their bond forged in blood and trust. The townsfolk stopped whispering when they heard how she'd fought. Some said she was Ethan's partner. Others said she rode off years later, free as the wind. But everyone remembered her name, Nayeli, the Apache girl who stood against the wild. And somewhere in the desert, under the same endless sky, her story still rides, a reminder that courage isn't about who stands beside you, it's about what stands inside you. If this story touched your heart, partner, don't forget to subscribe to Best Wild West Stories. Every week we bring you tales of love, loss, and legends that shaped the frontier. Backhand index pointing right, hit that subscribe button, saddle up, and ride with us through the greatest Wild West stories ever told. Cowboy Hot Face Fire.